When we talk about the foundation of society, it is impossible to ignore the role of women. A society is not built only on policies, buildings, or economies. It is built on people, and the first architect of a person is a woman. Every child, whether destined to become a leader, a thinker, or an ordinary worker, begins life in the care of a woman. This is not merely biology, it is philosophy. The nurturing that women provide shapes the psychology, values, and even the resilience of future generations. If a mother instills confidence, the child grows with courage. If she teaches compassion, the child grows with humanity. In this sense, women are not only raising children, they are indirectly raising nations. We often measure value in terms of money or power, but true value lies in influence, and women's influence is everywhere, even when it is unseen. Think of the quiet sacrifices, the patience, the wisdom they give to families. This influence is foundational. It's what creates the character of a society. Ignore it, and you weaken the roots. Respect it, and the society flourishes. It is not an exaggeration to say that women are the first teachers of humanity. They do not just transfer knowledge, they cultivate character. And without character, no education, no economy, and no innovation can sustain itself for long. That is why the strength of any community can be measured by how it treats its women. So, when we acknowledge women as the foundation of society, we are not offering them charity or praise, we are recognizing reality, a reality that demands respect, investment, and appreciation. And here is the truth to carry with you. If you want to build a strong nation, start by valuing the women who build the people. Equality and respect are not gifts we hand out. They are rights that every human being deserves by virtue of existence. Yet, history has shown us that women have often been asked to prove their worth, as though their humanity needed justification. This mindset is not only unjust, it is deeply unwise, because when you deny equality, you don't just limit women, you limit society. You cut off half of its potential, half of its creativity, half of its strength. No business would survive if it used only 50% of its resources. So why should a society expect to thrive while sidelining half of its people? Respect is more than politeness. It is recognition. Recognition of ability, recognition of intelligence, recognition of contribution. And equality is not about sameness. It is about fairness. Men and women may not always play identical roles, but that does not mean one is superior to the other. Philosophically, it's about balance. Psychologically, it's about dignity. A woman who feels respected performs with confidence. A society that values its women progresses with harmony. Look at nations and organizations where women are given equal opportunities. You see growth, innovation, and stability, not because women are competing against men, but because they are working alongside them, complementing strengths, balancing weaknesses, and enriching the whole system. When we fail to give women respect and equality, we are not just unfair. We are irrational. We undermine our own progress. The truth is simple. Equality is not a favor, it is a foundation. And without respect, equality is only a word. So, let me leave you with this thought. A society that does not respect women cannot respect itself, and a society that cannot respect itself has no future. Education is the most powerful form of empowerment, and when it comes to women, its value multiplies. An educated woman does not just transform her own life, she transforms the lives of everyone around her. She becomes a source of knowledge for her children, a partner with vision for her family, and an active contributor to the progress of her community. Education gives women the tools to think critically, to make informed decisions, and to stand with confidence in a world that often tries to silence them. But let's think beyond the obvious. Education is not only about literacy or degrees, it is about awakening the mind. It gives women the ability to question, to challenge stereotypes, and to imagine possibilities that others may overlook. Psychologically, education gives a woman identity. It tells her that her voice matters, that her ideas have weight, and that her existence is not secondary but central to the progress of society. If you look at history, you will see that whenever women were denied education, society stagnated. And wherever women were educated, progress accelerated. The logic is simple. When you educate a man, you educate an individual. When you educate a woman, you educate a generation. She carries that knowledge forward, not only through her profession, but through her influence on children, on families, and on the culture itself. So, the question is not whether women should be educated. It is how urgently we can make it happen everywhere. Because the cost of neglecting women's education is not just their lost potential, it is the loss of a society's future, and here is the truth I want you to remember. When you educate a woman, you don't just change her destiny, you change the destiny of everyone who comes after her. Leadership is not defined by gender. It is defined by vision, courage, and the ability to inspire others. Yet for too long, the world has underestimated women's ability to lead. The truth is, women have always been leaders, sometimes quietly within families, sometimes boldly in communities, and increasingly today on the global stage. Leadership is not about dominance, it is about responsibility. And women have shown, time and again, that their leadership is rooted not just in authority, but in empathy, resilience, and foresight. Psychologically, women leaders often bring balance. They understand that progress is not achieved by force alone, but through cooperation, inclusion, and long-term thinking. Philosophically, their leadership challenges the old notion that power is about control. Instead, it reveals that real power is about creating possibilities for others. When women lead, organizations and nations do not just grow, they grow differently. They grow with more stability, more humanity, and more innovation. History and modern examples alike prove this. Whether in politics, science, business, or social movements, women have driven transformative change. They have shown that leadership is not about being louder, but about being wiser, not about commanding followers, but about building more leaders. The question, then, is not whether women can lead, it is whether we are wise enough to let them lead more often. Because when leadership is inclusive, it reflects the full spectrum of human potential, not just half of it. And this is the point I want to leave with you. If we want progress that is sustainable and humane, we must embrace women not just as participants in leadership, but as essential architects of the future. Stereotypes are one of the most invisible prisons in society. They don't use locks or chains, but they confine minds just as effectively. For generations, women have been told what they can and cannot do, what roles are appropriate, what dreams are realistic, what boundaries they should never cross. The tragedy is not only that many women believed these limitations, but that society as a whole accepted them as truth. Yet, the moment we begin to question these stereotypes, they collapse under their own weakness. Psychologically, stereotypes are short, cut simplified labels that reduce a person to one dimension, but a woman is never one-dimensional. She is capable of strength and sensitivity, logic and creativity, discipline and compassion. By boxing women into narrow roles, society not only limits them, it weakens itself by rejecting the richness of their potential. Imagine a world where Einstein was told not to study, or where Picasso was told not to paint. That is what happens every time a woman is told to stay small. Breaking stereotypes is not about creating competition between men and women. It is about creating space for truth. And the truth is that talent, intelligence, and leadership are not defined by gender. They are defined by character and effort. When we allow women to break free from stereotypes, we unlock innovation, we expand opportunity, and we model courage for future generations. This is not just a social shift. It is a philosophical one. It asks us to choose authenticity over tradition, truth over comfort, progress over fear. And here is the thought I want to leave with you. Every time a woman breaks a stereotype, she does not just free herself, she frees society from ignorance. The future of any society is written in how it treats its women today. If women are empowered, respected, and given opportunities, the future will be prosperous. If they are neglected, silenced, or sidelined, the future will be fragile. It's that simple. A nation cannot expect to stand tall while half of its people are forced to kneel. Progress is not built by excluding voices. It is built by including every perspective, every talent, every strength. Think of it this way: women are not only part of the future, they are the bridge to it. They are the ones raising the next generation, shaping values, driving innovation, and leading change. To ignore their role is not just unjust, it is short-sighted. Philosophically, the future is always a reflection of the present, and if the present chooses to diminish women, the future will inherit that weakness. But if the present chooses to uplift women, the future will inherit strength, wisdom, and resilience. Psychologically, societies that invest in women build confidence, not just in individuals but in entire communities. A woman who knows her worth teaches her children to value themselves. A society that recognizes women sends a message to its young that fairness and possibility are real. So, when we talk about the future, let us be clear. It is not technology alone that will decide it, nor wealth, nor even politics. The true foundation of the future lies in the human beings who will shape it, and women are central to that foundation. And here is the closing truth. The future is not something we wait for, it is something we build. And if we want it strong, we must build it with women at the heart of it.